Divyanshu. Welcome to my podcast with me, Dr. Anamika Chawhan, and I'm so excited. Finally, we got the time and we are doing this and recording this podcast for our audiences. And for all my audiences, he needs no introduction. He has been one of the most well-acclaimed young entrepreneur, 30 under 30, Forbes, and a vlogger, traveler, scuba diver, actually a founder of TagMango. So my first question itself is going to start from TagMango. By the way, his place, TagMango, is an amazing place to be and to go and start working next to the Juhu beach with amazing view, very clean. And yes, I think you need more of time to explain what your place and work has been around. So Divyanshu, why don't you do this for our audiences? Like if you can tell us your journey and what all your learnings has been through your journey, your tips and hitches and glitches and everything.
I think if I start that, then the entire hour will pass by. I'll quickly give you firstly, thank you for having me on the podcast. It's a pleasure, Doc, that you called me on the podcast. So in terms of my journey, I'll quickly kind of contextualize it. I'm originally from Calcutta, was born in a traditional business family. I've always seen my dad build multiple businesses over time. Was always entrepreneurial from day zero and wanted to build stuff, create value for other people because that's what entrepreneurs do. And over time, I started business from St. Xavier's. Did a social entrepreneurship startup while in college called 𝐒𝐻𝐞𝐞𝐝. It's a completely original name. It sounds like a movie, but it's not. And post that, I actually became a creator. So right out of college, I actually started creating content on Facebook. That was the primary platform. Built an audience, decent audience of 200,000 followers there. Built another platform called the Social Network with about 800,000 followers there. And did a lot of keynotes across different colleges. I don't know why those colleges were calling me. I just gotten out of college, and my dad was more kind of, he was like, nahi, tumko nahi bulaya, wo log, tum jhoot bol rahe hai. And then the first couple of years after out of college, I did a bunch of those things, but had built a really strong community, but could not figure out monetization. I couldn't figure out how to make money. And because I'm Marwadi, that's the most exciting topic for me. And that actually led to the birth of TagMango. So early 2019 is when we started TagMango. A quick TagMango background. Early on, we basically were a brand and a creator marketplace. So we are helping creators connect with brands through a tech product. Primarily smaller creators connect with bigger brands overall. Started out from Calcutta, shifted to Mumbai mid of 2019. All seven of us, 7 boys in a home office. So I usually say 7 boys and 4 rats. The 11 of us built the first stage of the company. The rats were unpaid interns back then. And then early 2020 is when we got our first round of investment from ycombinator. It's a startup accelerator program that backs companies like Airbnb, Dropbox, all of these companies. And then the company went through a series of pivots. And what we do right now as the company, the core product is we build the shop for the creator, the online shop through which the creator can sell currently workshops, courses, and paid communities. And later down the road, they can even sell merchandise, physical products, books, anything through a one single storefront. So that is what we're building for every content creator out there. And the offline space that you mentioned that we have, it's a community space that we've built right in Juhu, Bombay. It's we hold a bunch of residential cohorts. About 10 to 12 founders, creators come and stay for a week in order to share knowledge and with each other and share knowledge and ideas with each other, which further allows to solve a bunch of problems within their businesses and overall for the world. Then we have a bunch of community events, panel discussions, meetups, startup Web3 meetups, creator meetups, parties as well. It's a place primed for parties, so it would be a sin not to party here. Those kind of events. Overall, again, the bigger idea and the thesis is, can we get different people from different backgrounds and get them to share ideas amongst each other, because that's where innovation truly thrives. And a lot of shoots also happen at this space. So everyone from a Badshah to a Twinkle Khanna to an Arman Malik have shot here for different things. So that's a community space. That's not the core business, but it kind of aligns with the core business of the tech product that we build. So that's like end to end in terms of the professional side of my life, in terms of my background, if you would ask. And apart from that, like you asked me, like other things, I have like a very, I would say, well balanced professional and personal life. I like to, I don't like, work is great. Of course, I like to work and build stuff, but it's just not work. I'm not a workaholic, so I have like different aspects to my personality. I'm deep into adventures. I'm professionally trained in scuba diving and skiing. I'm like you mentioned early before the podcast started, around self-consciousness and spirituality. That's a topic I like to probe a lot, and I read about it a lot as well. I love to read overall, so I like at least read 52 books a year on the minimum side, if not more. I love writing a lot, so I love journaling, writing, putting down my thoughts, penning my thoughts. Later down the road, possibly write a book as well. And I love conversing with people. So once again, thank you for having me on my podcast. You have to stop me somewhere or I will continue with my monologue. My team, every single team call that I have, I keep telling them, so we have Monday morning team calls. At the end, usually there is a monologue. So for 5-7 minutes, and then I usually say, that was my monologue, guys. Thank you for signing in. All the best for the week. So it's a constant thing that happens.
Okay, no, that's good, because you know how you can express yourself and you're well articulated, and that's coming from the experience and the exercises that you do personally, that is reading and writing. So why not?
100%.
It's good to hear your journey. I'm just impressed at this young age. How come you're so motivated? Like, is it really that baniya thing? Is it really the money which is driving you? And on the other note, what is this Marwadi and money relationship? Like, ye kahan se aata hai? I'm really curious to know.
So I think I will not say that wealth generation is not something that does not excite me. Of course, I love generating wealth for myself and for more for others. Like if I can get someone and allow them to build wealth for them, like that's the most exciting thing that I can do. And my thesis is actually very simple, that if you create value for someone else, value will automatically come towards you. You don't have to chase money in order to get money. You chase value, you'll get money. It's like a very simple thesis overall. And the bigger thing also is that I do realize that I come from privilege. And I've come from a privileged family and a privileged background. And one of the things that my dad has always inculcated in me is a realization that yes, I am privileged, and being empathetic about that fact with others, and possibly even like with the gifts that I have been given across my skill sets, the resources, everything that have been provided to me. It is my, if I would say, karma to actually not be motivated. If I would not be motivated, I would be doing a disservice to my karma. So being motivated and like working on my full potential so that I can create more value for everyone around me, including myself. That's what I'm here for. So that's like where the motivation actually comes from. And secondly, the Marwadi Baniya thing, it's actually, I think there are two factors attached with it. One, I believe so there is definitely a genetic factor attached with it, where you're automatically more entrepreneurial. And secondly, it's the background also attached with it, right? Most of my friends have family-run businesses. I've seen my dad building businesses over time, all of that. So because that's the exposure I've been given, so it's automatically much more exciting. Right from the time I was like 2 years of age. So I've already been impressioned towards, oh wow, this is so cool. We can build that, and by building this, we can like get so many people together and like build a much bigger company on top of it. Okay. So that exposure does definitely make a difference overall, and so that further kind of trickles down.
So
right?
You worked for someone?
I have never worked for someone. I've not even interned anywhere. It's like I remember from my second year of college, I've started hiring interns, and since the time I started hiring, then I've continued the hiring journey from there itself.
Okay, so does that make you feel like get any kind of FOMO that, oh, I think I should have worked under someone to learn this?
You know, I sometimes do think that possibly that could have been like a fun journey. But actually, I never feel a sense of FOMO, because I'm a true believer that if it is written for me a certain way, it's written for me that way itself. So if I had to go that entire journey, and the learning of being and diving into the entrepreneurial side, even from an early on, was incredible, and it's completely made me the person who I am today. So there's no sense of FOMO that, oh my God, could I have done that or something like that. But yeah.
So all your team members call you the best boss ever.
The best boss ever. I doubt that, but I'd hope that, but I doubt that. But I try to. I mean, I'm definitely empathetic as a leader, where I try and understand where the other person is coming from. And to be honest, I am still a work in progress. Everyone's a work in progress, but I'm still a work in progress. There's a long way for me to go in terms of learning leadership as well. I try. That's how I'll put it.
Okay. And this name TagMango, this is really unique. How did you land it up? What is the idea behind TagMango or having this name?
So, like, whenever anyone asks me this question, there are like two answers attached with it. So I'll give you both the answers overall. So first is basically, there is the real story, and then there is the PR story. So the real story is, it's not very fancy. So both Hassan and I, we were both excited about, like, we are very, very focused on speed as founders, that we want to get things done fast. So we said that when we came up with the idea for TagMango, we said that we need a name within 2 weeks. If we only decide the name within 2 weeks, it's a good week. That's the only thing on our to-do list. So we started the only thing that we wanted was a .com name. We didn't want a .co.in, .in or anything of that sort. We wanted a .com, a globally acclaimed. So we started with our journey, and .com names, to give you context, is not very easily available, especially for like commonplace words. So then we started our journey to find .com names. Like, we started doing permutation, combination, names of my lineage, Hassan's lineage, names of fruits, vegetables, animals, all of that. And we were doing like permutation, combination overall. On the last day, I had social media metrics written on one side. So tag, like, share, comment, etc. And I had like fruits written on one side, just like flipping things over for fun. It was the last day to kind of select. And we found that mangotag.com was available, and tagmango.com was also available. And it had a ring to it. The name had a ring to it. It's like TagMango sounds good, has a social element. Maybe we should go for it. Let's finalize. If we have to change down the road, we can rebrand. So that's how we finalized. So this is not very exciting overall as a story. But the PR story. Now, when anyone asks me this question, I say it was an extremely well thought name. We spent like a lot of time thinking about the name. I say that the core mission for TagMango as a company is to build for financial independence for people around us. Like, that's the core mission and value statement for the company. And we feel that the internet is the best enabler to allow for financial independence for everyone around us. So tag is actually an internet metric. It's a social media metric. So it's pulled from the internet. So it's a representative of the internet. And Mango is actually a representative of the Aam Aadmi, or the common man. And hence enabling financial independence for the common man using the internet, TagMango. That's the PR story that we share.
Cooked up, this PR story was brilliant. Something very, very like nicely cooked.
Yeah, it's pretty well cooked in terms of a story. Whenever I say this story, like, I really get praises a lot. Yeah, it was well done. Well cooked up PR story for sure.
Divyanshu, we also have a very, very amazing fact with us, that you got the investment from ycombinator, and that is something which is very tough to crack. So please, if you could share the journey, how did you manage to get this for TagMango?
So I'll give you the whole story. We'd applied to ycombinator twice. We got in the second time. The first time we'd applied, this was early 2019. We'd applied 3-4 months into the business. We just launched product. We didn't have any movement in terms of traction. But we did apply for the experience. We got through to the interview for the first time because both the founders had strong profiles. And like in the interview, we didn't do well at all. That is something I'm aware of. And the ycombinator interview is actually a very cool experience because it's like just a 10-minute interview. And they'll ask you questions like every 20 seconds, there'll be a new question. So you'll answer like 30 questions in 10 minutes and you'll have to be really fast and crisp. So you like practice and do those mocks.
Yeah.
So for the first time that we'd applied, we'd actually done 30 odd mock interviews with 𝐒𝐚𝐿 founders. So including the founders of 𝐒𝐻𝐞𝐝, Meesho, all of them. I've spoken to them, did mock interviews with them. I was prepared in the first interview as an interviewee. I was not prepared with the business. And if you're not prepared with the business, then they will see through it. Because they are smart folks. They've built billion-dollar companies. They've sold it. They can see through you very, very clearly. And that comes from experience. Now I've gotten a little bit of it, so I understand where they come from. The second time we'd applied, we'd already shifted to Bombay. We'd scaled the company considerably. It was 3 months in Bombay. We were like scaling it up aggressively. We were on decent revenue metrics, and then we'd applied. And then at that time, I just did one mock interview. That was with Vidit Atre. He's Meesho's founder. So that was also not an interview. I just spoke with him and I told him that these are, because then because then my thinking was that with 𝐒𝐚𝐿, without 𝐒𝐚𝐿, I'm still making a massive business. So it's not that I'm dependent on them entirely. So when you go into the interview with that thinking, you're already in a position of strength. And always give interviews from a position of strength, especially if you're raising capital. So that the second time, because we knew our business, we worked on it over the last 6 months, we'd be building like really crazily. We did the interview, everything went well, and we got into 𝐒𝐚𝐿. Overall, as a journey, to give everyone context, 𝐒𝐚𝐿 is like a 3-month program. In the first 3 months, basically at the end of the 3 months, there's like something called a demo day, where about 2,000 investors come in, they check out your product, and they can opt in to invest in that product. So you can actively pitch to those investors too. So ours was in January of 20 in terms of when we went to Silicon Valley for our 𝐒𝐚𝐿 journey, which is right before the pandemic. So we had like a virtual plus, I just flew out of the valley the day India got shut down. I remember like 2 days or 1 day before, just flew out of San Francisco. But overall, in terms of experience about that program, I think for us, it was extremely valuable. The biggest thing that they have value additions like network and learnings, etc., etc. But the biggest value add to me and Hassan, my co-founder, as founders, was the thinking around how to build a startup. So the thought process was given to us in terms of this is how you should approach things. And we also pivoted from our previous business model into a new business model. And then once that pivot cycle started, we've kept pivoting since then. It's a constant joke in the company. That valuable, that value add that was there, I think extremely grateful for the entire 𝐒𝐚𝐿 experience.
Right. So through these experiences, what you felt, is it easy to raise funds for a product-based company or a service-based company, or is it like almost the same?
So everything that YC invests in is tech. It has to be product-led. They don't invest in service-oriented companies inherently. But I mean, when it comes to the question of is it easy to raise fund for a product-based or a service-based, I feel capital is always available if you have the right story to tell, be it for whatever business you're building. Of course, product-based companies will get there faster because they can achieve scale faster and they are not dependent on human operability. That does not scale as fast as the customer base scales. But even service-based companies are able to raise capital as well if they have the right story to tell. So it completely depends on that.
Okay, so what story you told that time about that?
For 𝐒𝐚𝐿?
Yes.
That time we were pitching a completely different story. We were a brand creator marketplace. We helped creators connect with their favorite brands, and we were working with micro nano influencers. So someone with 1,500, 10,000 kind of follower base. That was the focus. What we were trying to solve for is that can we activate word of mouth marketing for brands at scale? So let's say if you go to a certain restaurant in a certain city, can I identify 100 people around that restaurant get them to come to that particular restaurant, talk about it on their social, and they are like 1,000, 2,000 followers that they have. So it's really strong word of mouth for that particular restaurant, right? Can we activate that through a tech product? Was the entire thing that we were solving for back then. That was the story. So yeah, that was inherently the pitch, and the bigger vision was again like, this is how at scale word of mouth, every business out there will kind of dive into influencer marketing, and they will activate. Even a small restaurant wala will say that, okay, let me get 50 people to come and talk about my restaurant overall. So like that was the thesis that we were selling for 𝐒𝐭mbinator.
Amazing.